Here at Abbott Adventures, we are into all sorts of different adventures. One of them is riding horses. We recently just returned from our first horse camping trip from Cape Blanco State Park. Looking for information on the park before we arrived, we found there wasn't much on Cape Blanco. So we thought, since we were there and there was a lack of information on the park, that we would shoot a quick tour of the park, give people some information about the different spots. Especially when we arrived, we were expecting a pull-through, and the spot we arrived at was not what you would normally consider a pull-through. Really didn't know what to expect at a state park, had never been to one. Later that trip, we would end up going into Bullard's Beach State Park. It was much busier, much dustier, and we realized that Cape Blanco was actually a pretty nice campground in comparison. So things we noticed when we were at Cape Blanco compared to some of the other camps that we went to. We also ended up at Wild Mare Campground, which is a national forest, for one night. Cape Blanco, however, was very nice. It was a windier park, which, you know, it is what it is. Cape Blanco is one of the windiest points in the state of Oregon. They did have water at almost every spot. Spot 1 and spot 7, we were unable to locate water at all. All the corrals were fairly new, galvanized corrals. They also had what looked like they intended to either have a roof or where you could bring a tarp and put a roof over the spots. Not really sure, but they all had a bar over the middle that was taller, and then a bar over the edge that was lower, like it was intended to be a peaked roof. That was interesting. Almost all were back in. There was one true pull-through spot, and 2 that the state park lists as pull-through, and they're more of just you pull off to the side of the road. It's a wider spot. Of the spots, there was 2 that have 4-horse corrals. All the rest were 2-horse corrals. Most of the campground is pretty shady. I would not want to go there in the middle of the winter. It would be cold, windy, and not much sun. We did find how everything in the campground area was rated beforehand as having 1 or 2 bars of cellular. And so we went in expecting to have very poor cell service, and actually had just purchased our Starlink. We were pleasantly surprised to arrive and did find that we had about 2 bars of service on average. But download speeds on cellular was in the 50 megabit per second, 25 to 50 megabit per second, which was more than adequate for streaming, doing all the stuff that we normally do. So we actually didn't end up using the Starlink as much as we thought, other than when we knew somebody really had to do some work, or just to give the phones a break, things like that. Because it was a very treed-in area, you weren't able to just mount Starlink on top of your trailer or whatever. We did have to push it out in the field a little bit, but we were still able to get great speeds. Having it been a new experience to me as Starlink, I was pleasantly surprised to see over 100 megs per second on a regular basis. And it worked really great for that. This was our first trip like this. We actually took our camp trailer, and then we had a second rig that was bringing the horses. It was my wife and her sister were riding the horses, so they had the ability to bring 2 vehicles. Most everybody else was, of course, in their normal, horse camper trailers, those sort of thing, or just tent and whatnot. Cape Blanco was all gravel. They were pretty clean. The horse manure area was fairly full when we got there. Ended up talking to one of the rangers, and they said they usually empty it like once a week, but it had been kind of slow a couple of weeks, so they had left it for a little while, and it got a little out of control. So they were in there cleaning it out. It still had room. They were on top of it. Very friendly staff from everyone we met. Park rangers were really easygoing. They said, don't care if you park your horse trailer in the grass, don't park your truck in the grass. We ended up with a truck in the grass most of the time, and nobody said a thing to us. At the time we were there, the trail to the beach was closed. The dune had apparently eroded away, and they were not safe or comfortable with letting people ride down that, so they had an alternate route going down the vehicle road to the beach, and basically just asked that everybody walk their horses for, I believe it was 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile, because it was a really narrow stretch. All in all, would highly recommend Cape Blanco State Park horse camp. Hope you enjoy the video. It's not going to be the most entertaining thing. It's literally just a walkthrough, kind of explain the sites, show you where the water is, give you some info on them. We will probably do a second tour walkthrough video on it. Our 10-year-old decided that he wanted to partake in the tour. You'll see him in our video a little bit, and his video is pretty, he's got some cute moments in there, so like to post it for him, but hopefully you don't get motion sick because the camera is all over the place. He's 10, give him a break. So hope you enjoy the tour and enjoy Cape Blanco State Park. Cape Blanco Horse Camp Site 1. This is listed as a 90 or 95 foot pull through. It is not actually a pull through. It's more like a pull off to the side of the road. So you have some space here that you can pull up and park trailers in the grass. They do not care about parking trailers in the grass, just not vehicles. So you probably do have about 90-95 feet there. This spot is very, very much in the shade, though. It is a two-horse stall. Nice metal corrals, fire ring, but it is in the shade full time. Site 2 is a back-end site. With another two-horse corral, fire ring, and picnic table. It is currently 12:38, September the 1st, and this has got partial sun compared to number 1 that was full shade. Horse Camp 3. Horse Camp 3 is a short back in with a two-horse corral. It is mostly shade with a little bit of sun. Firing picnic table as usual. Does have water right next to the front entrance. Number 2 has water midpoint in the campground. Did not see water in 1. Central trash is located between sites 3 and 4. Site 4 is very close to 3. There were some people camping here together. It is another back in, fairly short. A little bit bigger space to the side with another two-horse corral. Closest water would be the spigot between 2 and 3. Or, excuse me, between 3 and 4. Number 5 has a spigot right by the sign. Is a little bit longer back end spot. And has a two-horse corral off to the side. This is looking like mostly shade with some sun back by like the fire pit. And it is butting up right next to the vault toilet and the trail to the main campground. Right by the vault toilets is a manure dump spot. When we got here, there was a communal wheelbarrow left for everyone to use, and just next to that is the start of the trails. Number 6 is a pull through. We actually ended up turning around, pulling through backwards so that we can put our trailer door on the stall side. It has a 4-horse corral. It is definitely shady in the afternoon, evening, and the morning, but this time of day we are getting some sun in a couple spots, including on our trailer and at the campfire ring, as well as the horse stalls. This does have another water spigot right by the horse corrals and butts up to the big open field. Continuing around the loop, we come to number 7, which is another back in, decent length, and would be easier with a longer trailer as it lines up with the main road, so you could get easily nice and straight with this one. Back in, 2-horse stall or 2-horse corral. The spot is currently in the sun, but this would definitely stay shady most of the day. It was when we pulled in the afternoon yesterday. And finally, number 8. Number 8 is just left of the entrance. It is kind of, I guess, a pull-off site. Pretty good length. I think you'd easily get a longer trailer in here. Not really a pull-through, but you could kind of swing in here depending on which way you went. Goes pretty much all up to the front here. This is another 4-horse corral. It's currently mostly shady. Probably stays that way since that direction there is actually pretty much south. There is water right here at the corrals. So far, all of them seem to have water except one.